Hello friends and welcome back. I'm Enterprise Architecture and we are once again playing more modded Vintagestory. Last episode we finally got our windmill set up, and that means our first initial pulverizer is going, so we can finally start crushing bauxite for making refractory bricks and other good stuff. Today, I want to continue down that automation route. I'd love to get that pounder completely automated by using some chutes, but I also have some other things that are going to need a bunch of copper and a little bit of solder. So today, we need to get started on making some of that. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So to automate moving things around in Vintagestory, what you really need are chutes and hoppers. So chutes are relatively easy here. We do need to hammer them out on a forge if we're doing it. It looks like we need, I don't know what this 80 is, but basically we do need at least, I think it's 2 ingots worth to be able to make a chute. Alternatively, you can make chute by using a mold here. So here we go. We have a chute section mold, which we can fire and kiln the raw chute section mold, and we can form that with clay. And I think we might have to use fire clay for this. I'm not positive, but I'm relatively certain that fire clay is the only one that can be used for that. Now, thankfully, fire clay is relatively straightforward for us to make in this pack because we can just combine our red clay with powdered calcinated flint, which is easy for us to come by because literally we can just burn flint to get it. We are going to throw this into our crucible here, just like that, and this will get started by heating it up with our peat, and then we're going to have to put charcoal on top. So let's grab this up, light this up. There we go. This is now lit. That's going to get up to temperature. Now, we had started making charcoal last episode when we realized we were basically running out of charcoal very rapidly. So let's go ahead and dig down here real fast and get ourselves some more charcoal from our charcoal pit. So I was doing this wrong. The calcinated flint, it doesn't require a crucible. You can just heat it directly. Now, it's my mistake. We actually had some fire clay left over from our previous project. So we are going to take advantage of that to see if we can't get this mold done. Now, where in this spread is our mold? Ingot bulk, chute section mold. That's what we want. I'm just looking to see what else we've got. We can also do bulk plates, which honestly, considering how many plates we've been making lately, we should probably do that as well. All right, there is the chute mold done. Let's see here, and let's go ahead and do the plate mold while we are at it. All right, and there we go. We have now run out of clay. We are going to take the calcinated flint that we do have on hand here and go over to our quern, which we had left here, throw this in this, and now we can grind this up real quick. It's way more than we're actually going to use here. That's going to make up a big pile of fire clay for us, and then the rest of the red clay is going to go back in here for later use. There we go. Okay, 152 should be more than enough to finish up this little chore here. Let's grab this, and let's just get this finished up real quick. Again, autocomplete. Actually, we want to do duplicate layer. That's the fastest way to get this done. All right, no time flat, that is now done for us. We're gonna drop the extra fire clay back in here. We do have extra calcinated flint. Then all we have to do is throw this into our fire pits. I'd put a couple of beehives already in here that we need to fire for later. But I guess we can go ahead and do it now while we're at it. I do need to pick up more sticks, and I do think I'm about out of dry grass. Let's get started on the grass. Okay, let's get all these filled up with straw. We will then get these all filled up with sticks, and then we will get these all filled up with peat. All right, that used way less peat than I thought it was going to, actually. We didn't use but 48 pieces of it, so that's plenty of leftover peat that we have here. Put the rest back in our cellar here in just a second. All right, so we've got 16 hours to kill now, and we need to figure out what to do with that. And I think one of the things we can do is all of these little orange picks that we see here are where we originally found at some point a piece of copper. So if we get really lucky, if we dig down in a couple of these spots, we might find a copper node if we dig. So let's see here. Yep, right away. Native copper, medium native copper. Only one piece of it so far, but hopefully there'll be a little more hiding here around this quartz. There we go. We've got some rich native copper. That's what we are looking for. This will do very, very nicely for us. And we do need to clean our inventory, but thankfully we have some extra sticks that will work for this project. There we go, look at that. That's 2350 units of copper right there. That's gonna be plenty for us, and another 80 units right there. This should more than sort us out for our immediate needs, but I am feeling greedy and we are here, so we may as well keep digging. More zinc, okay, that's good. And more copper. What did I say? More rich copper. Inevitably, you're going to find more of it if you keep digging. Don't give up too soon, friends. Oh, I spoke too soon because what was behind that first piece of copper when I drilled down one more layer? Yeah, we have bountiful gold just sitting here. And you know what? We don't even have enough room in our inventory to even get it at this point. We're just going to have to mark it and come back for it. This is ridiculous here. And I'm still just finding more and more layers of copper as I dig down as well. So this is a absolute literal gold mine. And do you see where I found this? This is our house and we are here. So we're just right across the lake from our actual house. And now titanium, of course, because what would you expect to find is titanium along with everything else. So literally we found everything but what? Iron and silver. I think everything else useful in the game we have now basically found in this cave. That is amazing. For those keeping score, we have now found bismuth as well. All right, well, I broke my pick, so I guess that's a pretty good stopping point for now, but we are definitely gonna have to come back to this location at some point in the future to finish mining out all of this stuff and avoid all of the nasty monsters as we're doing that. All right, let's see what we've got. First things first, let's just deal with these broken fragments. We can come back to that later. Tin bronze unchisel? I'm not even going to think about what an unchisel is for right now. Maybe it's for reconstituting bits. I don't know. We do need to grab our hammer and start smashing all of these pieces of copper. So let's do this real fast. I'm just going to run through these and see where we end up. And we'll do all of the other ores we grabbed up at the same time because no sense in trying to separate them. Yeah, okay, so we're looking pretty good here. What is the end tally? We have 7 and a bit of copper. We have a bunch of sphalerite, some tin bronze, and we can chisel this real fast and get even more tin bronze out of it. There we go. That we'll use to repair this broken pickaxe here sometime in the near future. We just need to find where all of our other bronze stuff is. We'll just shove this in here for now. Okay, great. And then we'll put these bits in with those bits, pick up our copper. There we go. And now everything is basically sorted here. All right, that is plenty of copper for what we have in mind. Now, since we spent the better part of a day doing that, all of our molds are also done. So we are ready to go use these if we want here in our smelting factory. We are running out of room for molds is one of the problem here. So we probably should make another rack. How do we make the vertical rack? Let's see here, this one, right? Yeah, sticks and some boards. So we can do that real fast. I think we can at least make one more with what we've got on hand here. Just like that, one more vertical rack. And we need a place to put it. I think right where we've got that peat would be an ideal place for it. Is there any other spot that I can put this? Well, let's just put it here. That's fine. And we're gonna pick these up and get them slotted. Perfect. Okay, that will do for now. We'll put the nails and strips right there. Cool, cool, cool. And then we can put these molds over here, just like that. No, can I not put this down? There we go. Okay. And that gives us access to bulk molds. So let's see here. This is 400 units to make 4 chutes. That's pretty good. And 1,000 units to make 5 plates. Now, we're not going to be making 5 plates of copper, I don't think, immediately here, but maybe we do need that. Copper plate. If I remember correctly, we can at least use the copper plate to make our hoppers. This, I believe, is the recipe from the Better Hopper mod. And yeah, we need 3 of those because we don't have this machinist mechanism blueprint. I don't even know where to find these at this point. Yeah, very rare in a ruin. So we will make at least a couple of hoppers here, and we are going to need plates for that. So we'll probably make 5 plates there, and then we'll take one of our existing molds as well and we'll do like one more plate mold, and that'll give us 6, and we can make 2 hoppers with that. So that's 1,000, 1,200 there, and then we do 4 chute sections with another 400, so that's 1,600 all day. So let's see how we are doing here on the copper. Now, while we are at that, the one other thing we need to do is make a soldering iron while we're doing copper. For that, we need a copper chisel, and I do believe we also have a chisel mold somewhere in here. It might just take me a second to find it. There we go. Okay, we did find that. Let's put this down here. That's 150 units of copper. So where were we at then? 1,200, 1,600, 1,750. All right, we can do that. We can do that. All right, there we go. 1,750 right on the nose. Let's go ahead and light this up. And actually, now that I think about it, I might go ahead and if we've got a little bit of leftover copper, I might make a couple of extra ingots because you never know when that's going to come in handy. This will make 5 units of copper, so that's another 4 ingots worth of copper that we should be able to add to that. There we go, 2,150. Perfect. All right, so let's get this lit up. We need to remember where we left our torch. Right in front of me. That's where we left our torch. Okay. Finding torches when we put them down is one of our biggest problems at this point in this playthrough. Okay, our copper is finally done. There seems to be something a little weird going on with the crucible in this particular version. I don't know exactly what the issue is, but for some reason it felt like it was just kind of stalling out in its heating process and would just stop for no apparent reason. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we got it done. That's all that matters. And now we just have to pour all of this out, fill up all of these molds real quick. Let's make sure we're doing the plate mold here. There we go. Let's make sure we're doing the chisel mold here. All right, great. And how much do we have left in here? 400 units. And if I measure that just right, we should have exactly as much as we need to fill up these ingot molds as well. Great. And as soon as we're done with this, the next thing we probably should do is look into getting our solder. But we might also need to go ahead and get our hammers done because we need another hammer. We're at 297 durability, and that means this hammer is going to break pretty soon. So maybe we go ahead and smelt up a little bit of tin bronze to make ourselves a hammer. Now, I think I could just use these tin bronze ingots, but for something that we can just do in a mold, we wouldn't want to go ahead and use the hammer to do it, because basically we might run out of durability in the time we're trying to get this done. So instead, we will just melt up some tin bronze and we'll do it that way. And it looks like we've got a lot of copper here, so that should not be an issue. Just grab that and a little bit of the tin that we had just gotten. All right, tin bronze is done. Grab that up, not put it in the wrong spot, make ourselves up a hammer real fast, put the crucible back on there. That's going, this is going, everything is going. The only thing we're left to do now is to make up our solder, and that needs equal part of lead and silver, if I remember correctly. Let's see here. Solder, I think we can use lead solder. Actually, lead solder should be half lead and half tin. All right, our copper has indeed hardened. We can throw this in here. I think the rest of this copper has also hardened, which is great. Wonderful. Oh, we've got all of those chutes now ready to go. There's 6 copper plates. And the copper chisel, how do we make that into a soldering iron? It is literally just this and a stick. Do we have any sticks left? Or yeah, okay, good. We do have a few sticks left. I was really running out, but we do have a trick to make more sticks if we need. There's 1 soldering iron. While we're at it, let's just make 2 soldering irons. We're certainly going to end up using them. Perfect. All right, so 1 soldering iron will go on the wall here somewhere. Do we have any room left in our tool rack? We'll just put it there. And we should now have everything that we need to proceed. Let's see here. We have chute sections, and those we will then put together to make some of these chutes. The hopper we can make as well. Let's go ahead and grab this up real quick. And is the hopper just plates, or do we need something else? Let's see. Just 3 plates. Okay, that's wonderful. So let's do this. Perfect. There is our hopper. And now with a hopper and chutes, we will be able to automate how we move around ingredients into our various machines. All right, we are back here at our machining area. We are going to break our pulverizer down into bits, and we are going to break 2 pieces of wooden axle. So we are going to attempt here to put our reed chest down there, put our hopper on top of it. I don't know if this is going to work with a reed chest or not, but we're going to make a good try of it. The pulverizer then will need to go on top of that, and I might have to climb up on this ladder to be able to see what I am doing. There we go. That's going to go like that. This then gets its toggle back. If we can find where on the ground the toggle is. Honestly, the easiest thing to do here would put our crushed bauxite in there, right? Toggle goes on there, pounder, and then the other pounder. Our 2 caps will go on like that. And this is only then missing our angled gear. Just like that. That should then slowly start doing its thing. And now the only thing left is to put an elbow chute on that. And I think we can put it right here. Will that work? Oh, but that's going the wrong direction. We want gravity to do our bidding for us. So we want it to go down. Let's go back up our ladder a little bit. That will go on there. And then in theory, I can put a reed chest on here. And this then gets our bauxite. And I believe this is now getting bauxite into it. And slowly but surely out the other end should come our crushed bauxite. So as we saw, our cranberries are starting to bloom, and as are all the rest of the things that we have planted. So all of our various berries are very, very close to becoming ripe. And that means we can start working on one other thing that I would like to do, and that is we have something to do with all these hundreds of berries we're going to have momentarily. I think what we need to do is start distilling. So we are going to make potentially a couple of different types of alcohol, but moreover, I also want to make this aqua vitae. The reason why we want that is because aqua vitae is a key ingredient in something else that I want, and that is, if I can find it here, substrate. So we want to start growing mushrooms in the near future, and we're going to need aqua vitae to do that. We have most of the other ingredients that we need, including high fertility soil, which is easy enough. We have grass. We have some grain that we can use for this. But at the end of the day, the thing we really are going to need is that aqua vitae. And the only way to make aqua vitae is by distilling. So to distill, we need 2 things. We need a condenser, which needs 2 copper plates. And we also need a boiler, which needs 5 copper plates. So we need to make 7 more copper plates. So it looks like this needs 2 bars of lead solder, and this one needs 5 bars of lead solder. So that's easy enough. We've got the solder that we're about to make for that, but the copper is going to take a while, and we are running very, very low on coal for this. So I might need to go get a little bit more coal mined up. I think this black coal, maybe this will be enough to get us over the hump. There we go, that's lit. And now this should get up to temperature really, really, really quickly, and then we can start melting down these bars. Okay, lead solder is done. We just need to make sure that we have the tongs in our hand. Grab that up and go ahead and pour this out real quick before it has a chance to harden in the crucible. There we go. All right, so we are gonna need 7 plates. That means that we're gonna need 1,400 units of copper. I should also make another nails and strips. So let's go ahead and make up 20 more. There we go. So that's a nice even 300 nuggets. We're gonna put this in here. We will then get this up to temperature initially with peat. All right, at long last, there is our copper done. Let's go ahead and load up our plate mold real fast here. There we go. Now we can do our plates. There's 6 plates, there's 7 plates. And last but not least, we are gonna do our nails and strips. Perfect. All right, that's all done. We have a bunch of lead solder now. We just need to grab our saw up and we can start sawzawing all of this down into lead solder. 20 pieces should do for a while. And of course, while we are waiting for that, we can start going out and picking some of our berries. I think the cranberries are going to be the best thing to pick for now because we have the most of them. We're going to need a lot to be able to make our aqua vitae. So let's go and pick up everything that's currently blooming. We will need to come back out here later and make another pass on these in the future once the rest of these ripen. So less than a day for some of these, but we'll just go ahead and do what we can for now. Okay, not a bad haul. We have 2 stacks of 128 and 70 overflow of cranberries. That should be a good amount of cranberries for us to play with. We will need to empty out this bucket, which we can do by grabbing back up our ceramic jug, and we should be able to use it on that. There we go. Let's go ahead and put our flax oil right here. Our empty bucket will come with us, and we will then get to juicing. So let's go to our juicer. We put our bucket down here, and let's see how, what do we have in here? Oh, we have flax mash in here. Interesting. Okay, so I didn't realize that so much flax grain would turn into so little flax mash. That is a shame, but it's fine. I do believe that animals will still eat it. Let's see here. We are at, oh, this will make 10 liters of cranberry juice. And the bucket, how much does a bucket hold? Well, I think a bucket probably can hold this much, but we will find out very, very quickly. Any second now, almost done with our squishing. There we go. Okay, 10 liters of cranberry juice. And also we have our cranberry mash in here afterwards as well. That's good for 3 more days. This is good for 2 more days. If I put it into a container, will that last a little while longer? It only gives us a couple of more days here, so not a lot. Let's see here, the cranberry juice, let's take this, and I believe what we have to do now is transfer this into a barrel. So let's go ahead and put that in there. That says it will turn into 10 liters of cranberry wine after 7 days of sealing. Well, while we are at it, why don't we just keep doing more? Because I think a bucket will hold a lot more than that. So let's keep working on getting some of this squished down here. I'm going to keep working through this stack. All right, we only had a little bit of misclicking here, but we ended up with wasting a little bit of our cranberry juice. But now we can seal this, and that will make 50 liters of cranberry wine. And once we have that cranberry wine, we can then distill that into cranberry brandy. Now, it also can be left in there longer for a stronger cranberry wine portion. Now let's see here. The dry mash can become dehydrated cranberry. So let's see here. If I put this in here, oh, we do get dehydrated cranberry. Great. That's fresh for 8 days. And then what can I use this for? Can I do anything else? It's squeezed dry. It looks like I can put this potentially into, oh yeah, it dries into a dried cranberry after 72 hours of open storage. Now, our flax mash from the previous episode is going to go bad in a day, so we may as well just feed it to our chickens at this point and hope for the best. Maybe they'll lay a few more eggs. So let's go ahead and fill this up. There you go. Now you've got some dry mash. Yeah, see, these eggs have been sitting here for a week and they haven't sat on them, so I'm not sure what to do to convince them to calm down. We're gonna have to move the chickens. That's all there is to it. How is our plate situation looking? These are all done. Strips are done. Great. So let's go ahead and get our distillery set up going here. This is easy enough. We do need to grab up our soldering iron. I want to put a new rack in so we have a little bit of extra room. I think this is all we need to do. There is a condenser. And now if we do the same thing again, there is a boiler. Perfect. So we have both of those now done. Where do we want this to live? Probably in the kitchen somewhere. We have a bit of room in the kitchen. Maybe we put the boiler here and we put the condenser like over here. And now, oh, that's gonna have to go the other way, isn't it? It's gonna have to go sideways. Let me break this down real quick. All right, we moved everything over a little bit. We've got the fruit press there. Now we've got the boiler here. We've got the condenser here, and we should be able to put our bucket right underneath there. So when we are indeed ready to start dealing with all of this, our distillation, it should be easy enough for us to then distill things directly into our bucket. And this is where we will get our lovely aqua vitae back out. Wonderful. All right, friends. Well, we got a lot of things done today. We have some more automation set up, and that is cranking right along. And we have our moonshinery all set up and ready to go. Very soon, we are going to have some delectable treats here. But again, the goal here is not to make a whole bunch of alcohol. The goal here is to start our mushroom kingdom. So join us back here next time when we get a start on that. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here then. Bye, friends.